Hi, hey, and hello there. Obi-Han here, and welcome back to the Comic Highground. And you know what time it is? It's time for Fantastic Four. And I brought Dio from the Batcave to come talk about Fantastic Four because he wasn't here for Superman. So Dio,
What's good? What's good? It's your boy, the Big Ree. It's the Big Ree. How y'all doing today?
yeah, you would like the Superman video actually. It actually hit decently compared to a lot of the other videos lately because um, Jaded had sent it to his little Facebook group, and that I think it got a lot of traction. So I might have to ask him to, to send this one out too, because we're still trucking, trying to get at least to 1,000 subscribers. I don't know if that's possible by the end of the year. I think it's possible to you.
I think it's possible. I think we're gonna do it.
Yeah. Y'all. I don't know. I might have told y'all this. You you'll see Dio more and more. I'm sure you should have gotten used to hearing his voice by now. But yeah, as the channel continues and grows or whatever, he'll be pretty much a co-host. So hopefully that means you all are getting more consistent content, more videos, maybe some videos where you're not necessarily hearing me all the time on every single video. He has some ideas, and so he might have some strictly DO videos here and there. But you'll still get, for the most part, what you had before with me, with the comics and everything, and whatever random stuff I decide to do. Just as a quick announcement, also I'm planning a new series. I hadn't quite come up with the name of it yet, but it'll be a series reviewing or going back to old comic movies or comic shows and doing like a little. I don't want to say video essay because it's not going to be that formal, but just a recap talking about the different movies and stuff of the past and revisit them. So look forward to that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So, Fantastic Four, first steps. Right out and by the way, spoiler warning because we are going to talk spoilers. I didn't talk too many spoilers of Superman, but hey, well, I'm gonna go ahead and talk some spoilers with Fantastic Four this time. So, first things first, Do, what are we rating this right off the bat?
That's bad. I think I'm gonna give it about somewhere between 8.5 and a 9.
Okay, yeah, I can rock with that. I'll probably say a 9. One thing about this Fantastic Four movie, they've done a lot of comparing it to Superman because they've come out within 2 weeks of each other, and Superman was good. Obviously, you heard my review of it. Dio liked it too, as he told me. Um, but the thing is, you can compare these two movies without tearing the other one. You can like one without tearing the other down.
Like
And
it's very easy. I don't
yeah,
understand. Like at
yeah,
this point, like I mean, we're honestly in a renaissance right now. We should be feeling really good
yeah,
because we've got nothing good superhero movies all year, despite what people have want to say about the movies that have come out. We've gotten good superhero movies this entire year,
yeah, yeah,
and it's always so refreshing now that we're getting a good DC movie, which is so rare. Like that's so rare now. So seeing a good DC movie and a Marvel movie come out at the same time, like I don't understand how it's hard to just like them both.
yeah. They, it's I guess it's the comic book fandom, but they're gonna be them, and even with Superman, because there was discourse with Superman between the DC fans and the Snyder fans. They were having fits because Superman was being praised, and they didn't like that. And I'm like, y'all realize that your Superman wasn't Superman right now. Hey, Cavill, look, you cool, okay? You cool, but I'm sorry, you never got a chance to play Superman.
You got to
that
play the Man of Steel,
yeah, um, and
and that's it, and that's it.
yeah,
You didn't get
yeah,
to play the actual character of Superman. And I loved it. I love Henry Cavill. I love Henry Cavill. But he was given nothing.
yeah.
He was given nothing.
Yeah, but in any case, and of course, we're getting. I guess I got us off track talking about Superman, but Fantastic Four. Yeah. Everybody did a good job. Like Pedro Pascal, we had doubts about Pedro Pascal. We didn't think he looked like Reed. Yeah, and I'm a fan of Pedro Pascal because from going
Yeah,
back, yeah, going back to the Mandalorian and everything. But yeah, he didn't. He his like his as weird as this is to say, his head wasn't shaped correctly to be Reed. At least not at first. I don't know what type of diet or something he went on. I guess to make his skull look slimmer. But he
but
looked a lot more like Reed when we got to the movie.
I mean, and I feel like specific praise does need to be given to him for his portrayal of Reed Richards because not one time did he feel emotionally unintelligent, which is, one thing that, despite how much I love, Ian Gruffudd's Reed, I feel like, he was a little unintelligent when it came to what Sue was feeling, and you didn't see that too much in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that's true. There were parts in the movie like there's a part in the movie where um so Galactus wants their child. Like Frank, they had their child, and Franklin is obviously uber powerful. If you don't know anything about Franklin Richards, he's like a reality warping, multiverse creating god. And Galactus is actually kind of afraid of Franklin in the comics, if memory serves. And Galactus has a, I mean not Galactus, Franklin has a lot of feats. Like he's done some crazy stuff. Franklin in one comic, that I know Comics Explained always talks about a lot. There's a scene where like Norman Osborn comes into the Baxter building. I think this is during the time where he's director of Shield, and Franklin has like this toy gun. And you see it's like a little pop corkscrew thing that pops out of it, and he points it at Norman, and Norman's just like, "Oh, ain't that cute?" Franklin pulls the trigger, and then Norman gets shot with a real bullet in the shoulder, and like, whoa. So
Uh,
Frank,
also, also, Franklin in the comic, uh, I think Galactus started off being afraid of him, but later on down the line, uh, him and Franklin become good acquaintances, they become good friends because
well,
Franklin's the only being that was going, be with
yeah,
him.
yeah, because well, Franklin is pretty much the constant. I can't remember the right phrase. He's gonna live a long time. I put it that way. But in any case, Galactus in the movie wants Franklin in exchange for not eating the Earth, and Reed and Sue are basically like, no, this is our kid. And there's a part in the movie where Sue uh, pretty much well I'm getting ahead of myself. Um, Reed tells everybody that Galactus wanted their child, and they don't. The world doesn't take that kindly because it's like, well, you could have just gave him the kid. Now we're all screwed, and Reed basically tells him like, well, we'll figure it out. And then Sue goes out there to this mob of people who are outside their building. She's like, look, we're not gonna give us. I mean, we're not gonna sacrifice our child, but we're also not gonna sacrifice the world. So we're gonna save you all. And this scene, the reason I brought all this up and brought up everything about Franklin, because you were talking about Reed. Right before this scene, Reed is trying to figure out what the heck to do, and he looks at Sue, and nowhere Sue actually looks at him, and she was like, "You actually thought about giving Franklin to Galactus?" And he was like, "I mean, I wouldn't do that, but you think about it, but I wouldn't do that." And it goes right to what you were saying about how Reed's portrayals, because he says he's like, look, my mind is made up that I'm going to think about all possibilities, even the bad ones. Like that doesn't mean I'm gonna do it, but it's gonna come to mind as like a variable. It's like, okay, well, how would this play out? And that's Reed Richards. Like that's him in a nutshell. And Vanessa Kirby did a damn good job playing off of that because the look in her face when she realized that you really considered giving our child to Galactus. Even if you weren't going to do it, you considered it. How all of her expressions and her lines in this movie were perfect. People said something about her being. There's a rumor that she was like the leader, like she was telling everybody what to do, and she really wasn't. Reed was very much so the leader of the team still, but that goes to people whining and complaining about stuff. Um, but Sue, she had her role. She was definitely like the mother figure. Even before Franklin got there, she was like the motherly figure in the movie. She wasn't bossy. She was like, I mean, she was just that strong character. And I don't want to say like strong female character, because I wouldn't even say that. She was like that motherly figure in the movie.
She was literally a mother the entire movie before she was even a mother, and it was perfect. It was
Yeah,
genuinely perfect. That's Sue's story.
yeah,
And not to mention earlier, and when she like when they mentioned that she was the reason that Subterranean was not at war and going to war with the surface world, and it
yeah,
was because of he said he didn't trust the world, but he trusts Sue Storm, and
right.
that's Sue Storm.
And of course, I skipped us towards the middle to the middle of the movie because even though it's a spoiler review, this isn't something where we're just gonna tell you all beat for beat what's happening. We just mentioned some high points, but with Sue being the person, because she was like the diplomat of the group, if you will. You see her speaking to the UN, and they do show us that out of all the countries that are there, Latveria's little sign is there, but there's no Doom. So yeah, he's not effing with the Fantastic Four, clearly. And the interesting thing is, it doesn't seem like they've had any like blow come-ins with they hadn't had any run-ins with Doom. So it's interesting that he already like off rip is not effing with the Fantastic Four. But
He just a natural born hater.
yeah, yeah. So that it's gonna be interesting to see. I'm really 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 interested to see how Robert Downey Jr. is gonna play this, because um the dude is a genius of an actor. So it's really gonna be interesting to see how he does this. Um, and then of course you got to talk about Joseph O'Quinn as Johnny Storm.
Got to talk about Joseph Quinn.
Yeah,
Oh my
Joseph did a good
goodness.
job. I mean, we were talking about when we saw that Joseph Quinn was casted as Johnny. I don't think either of us had doubt that he could do the role, because we both knew him from Stranger Things. Yeah, and he did it damn good. He was a standout, even though his character was only in that season of Stranger Things. He was a standout role. Like he kind of stole the show in that season. So, oh, I thought you were gonna say something.
Oh no. I was waiting
Yes.
on you to finish.
Oh yeah. So when he was casted as Johnny, it was like, oh, cool. Now I still don't like this. I know it's supposed to look like the comics. That hairstyle to me didn't translate well in real life to the live action screen in the movie, but luckily, again, his performance as Johnny it was a good distraction, because he did a good job. I mean, and his Johnny was something that I have not seen in a Johnny Storm. I don't know if I've seen that in any iteration of the character, but Johnny did something in this movie that was unexpected, um, because he solved a problem that honestly Reed wasn't aware was a problem. He wasn't aware as a thing to pay attention to, because he had his own stuff going on. But Johnny was an integral part of them beating Galactus.
Johnny was one of the biggest parts of them being Galactus because if Johnny didn't decode the messages that they were getting all movie basically, or from the start of the movie, then they wouldn't have beat Galactus in the end because they would have never had the help to do so.
Right, right. And that again, and the Silver Surfer. Well, we'll get to her in a second, but um, Ben, because I wanted to speak about Ben. I cannot.
I
I
speak
can.
about Ebon. I can't say his last name. I
Yeah,
can't say his last name.
but
But
he did a good
but
job
Evan
too.
Moss, he did a fantastic job. He did a
He
fantastic job.
yeah he
No
did
pun
a
intended. No pun
he
intended.
yeah yeah he did a good job. Like I said, there are people complaining like, well, he didn't have the thing arc with his problem with being the thing. I'm like, oh, it's been 4 years. That they purposely didn't go into that because they didn't want to have to retread that same arc.
We
Yeah,
already seen it.
yeah, I've seen it twice. At this point in his career, there's no way Ben is still like tripping on that. He had gotten used to it. He had accepted it by this point. Now, of course, I think it still comes up in the comics every now and then. But for the most part, he's comfortable in his own rock. See what I did there? Comfortable
Yeah,
in his
yeah,
own
yeah.
skin.
I kind of
Yeah.
like that. I kind of like that. I kind of like.
So, yeah, that one, there's not anything to complain about. And I mean, he pulled. If there's any member of the team that maybe you could say didn't do a lot, maybe you could say is him. But by the same token, he played his part though. Um, he didn't necessarily have to have this moment in the movie where he did something crazy. He was there. He did what he was supposed to do. He was Reed's best friend. He was basically he was I almost would argue he was more uncle to Franklin than Johnny was in a way, because he seemed like he was the one holding the baby all the time.
The whole time.
So he did his part, and then we talk about the Silver Surfer, and she was awesome. Again, another point where people are complaining, but it's like this is not the main MCU universe, so shit, chill out. Uh, she's
Julia
temporary.
Garner.
Yes.
Julia Garner did a sensational job playing the Silver Surfer. It's a
Yeah.
different universe. So these folks who scream for Norrin Red, they can go on to where they can go kick rocks. Okay, this is a different universe. They'll still get Norrin.
Yeah.
But no, Shala Ball in this movie, like I mean, just through her face alone, like the little words that she would say, her face showed how she felt the entire time.
Oh yeah.
And praise has to be given to Julia Garner for doing that to that fucking suit that they were wearing, or that they had her in, because you could see everything she was feeling the entire time,
Yeah.
and the scene with Johnny in the middle like of the shit where the climax of the movie is actually like
Yeah.
uh the scene with her and Johnny, like, and he's basically telling her that like, yes, I know who you are, I know where you came from, why are you doing this, you wouldn't want this to happen, you tried to do this, and her actual breakdown and just acting the entire scene was just phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, she knocked it out of the park. And again, without talking or lingering too much on every single bit of the movie, the action sequences were good. There's a sequence, and I bring this up because we're talking about her, but there's a sequence where they're running away from her, and they're like in this. They're traveling. They're in light speed or whatever, traveling across the galaxy, and she's following them, and like you see her surfing like on the stream or whatever, and they're like Johnny is shooting at her with the cannons and the ship, and she's just kind of weaving and dodging, and then like that whole sequence was really cool. Um,
Genuinely great.
yeah,
One thing that a lot of people have been saying, and I do agree with, is that this might be the prettiest Marvel movie like that the MCU has released. And that's saying a lot. Like that is saying a lot. Like just the pure color
yeah.
of the entire film and how vibrant everything was. This actually just might be the prettiest Marvel movie.
Well, this movie was clearly an homage to Jack Kirby, so
Definitely.
they clearly went full in on that. Um, which again, respect. I got no problem with that. Um, Galactus. Well, a lot of people complain about how Galactus was nerfed. Um, I must say this.
Galactus was not nerfed.
Well, I know what Galactus is capable of, but by the same token, you people gotta understand. For one thing, Galactus, as funny as it is to say, especially after you see the movie, Galactus wasn't per se trying to fight them. Galactus literally, he was like, "I'm here for the kid. Get out my way." And everything's good. And again, even when they were in his way, he just kind of treated them like gnats. He really didn't fight anyone. I know people want to probably see Galactus do more Galactus things, I guess, but I wouldn't say he was nerfed. I would really say more so that he underestimated the willpower of the Fantastic Four, particularly Sue, because when it's all said and done, Sue, with Johnny's help, but Sue beat Galactus virtually by herself. Uh, they had a team plan. Their plan was to get him into this spot so they could teleport him across the multiple galaxies or something. So it would take him like 1,000 or 100,000 years to find him again or something like that. And they had to push him into the spot, or she had to push him into spot for them to activate the portal. So she basically used her all of her might and her powers to push him into the portal, and then that's when Silver Surfer came and pretty much finished it because he was about to step out of it, and she tackled him in there. So that was a great moment in itself, and some people will probably I hadn't really seen people complain, but if there were people complaining, then they don't know what they're talking about because Sue very much so is that powerful.
But Sue is definitely the strongest member of the
Yeah,
Fantastic Four.
yeah,
Not counting
Sue,
their children. Not
yeah,
counting their children. The Invisible Woman is the strongest force on the four. And
yeah,
it's always been that way.
yeah. Since her doing that it made perfect sense. Now, of
I
course,
mean, it killed her.
it
Like,
killed her, yeah,
like
and that's what I was about to say. It killed her, but that was for the sole purpose of showing what Franklin can do, and they still don't know what Franklin can do. They just know he brought her back to life. But they did have a really cool effect when she opened her eyes and she had like this galaxy look, this
this
cosmic,
purplish galaxy
yeah,
looking cosmic fucking shit
yeah,
all in
which
her eyes.
which as comic book people we are like, yeah, yeah, I see what you're doing. You know, the average audience member probably wouldn't even pick that out, but we knew. So that's the movie pretty much closed out at that point, and the only post credit scene that mattered was it skipped 4 years ahead, and she was sitting there playing. Sue was playing with not Johnny, Franklin, and
Franklin.
yeah, Franklin, and she goes to go get something, and she comes back, and Doom is sitting there in front of Franklin, I guess, playing with him. I don't know what he's doing. You just see the back of him. You see the cloak. I mean the hood and his mask in his hand, and he never turns around. Now the director has since told us that was indeed Robert Downey Jr. in that scene. Why they didn't feel the need to show us, I don't know, but we do know that was Robert Downey Jr.
Still don't understand why they didn't show us his face.
I
I mean,
can
you
only
already announced him.
Yeah, I can only. And with that said, let me say this: if they hadn't already announced Robert Downey Jr., that would have been an awesome scene. But anyway, the only thing I can guess is that maybe that's a scene that's gonna be in Avengers because they do that sometimes.
They
Um,
said the Russos did say that both the scene in Thunderbolts and the scene in Fantastic Four is going to be in Doomsday.
okay, yeah, then that plays into it then because what we'll see is probably him because they've done this before. We'll probably
Hmm.
cut at some point in whatever point it is in the Avengers movie, probably in the very beginning. We'll see. We might start off from Doom's point of view because they like to do that, and we'll see him arriving in the room, and then we'll see the scene. We'll see Sue walk up and him turn around and everything. That's kind of how they do that. So yeah, that's to be expected. So yeah, we'll talk more about theories for Avengers Doomsday and everything. Probably in the coming weeks. Uh, but I think that's all we got to say about this review. You got anything to say about Fantastic Four?
No, I can't. I can't. I can't really think of anything. But
All
I
right.
think we pretty much covered our bases. Great movie. Please, if you haven't seen it, why are you watching this review?
Yeah.
But if you made it this far and you still haven't seen the movie, go watch the movie. Like it's fantastic.
Yeah. Um, and before we close out, you have a question for the people?
Ah, that's my question for the day. I know who mine was. It's definitely biased because it's my fucking favorite Fantastic Four member. But yeah, who's your favorite? Who's your favorite member in the movie? And who was your favorite portrayal? Who do you feel like encapsulated their character the most?
All right, that sounds like a good question to me. All right. Drop those answers in the comment section. Also, let us know, those of you who've seen the movie, let us know what you thought of it. Um, so hit that like button, please. It will help the channel out a lot. Subscribe, please. Share the video around. Share it with your aunties, your uncles, your friends, your friends' friends, your friends' girlfriends, your friends' girlfriends' friends. Uh, yeah,
That
share
friend you
it.
don't talk to anymore.
Yeah, that guy. Share it with him too. Um, share it with everybody. Share it with I don't know, Steph Curry. I don't know.
Please get it to Stephen Curry.
But yeah, so we will catch you on the next one, and remember, we have the high ground.
Deuces. Ooses.